Thank you very much. Yeah, I think, BB's great. I actually had the song now for quite a few months, actually. Yeah, I wrote it with Nick from Digital Farm Animals, who's also one of the collaborators. And we realised that to really drive the emotion home, it'd be great to have a female on the track. And then I think someone from the label sent it to BB, and obviously her vocal's just undeniable. She's so good. Yeah. I mean, when I go into songwriting, sometimes, especially when we're kind of looking for a single, sometimes some of the writers are kind of writing in that vein where it feels a little fairy tale and it feels not really that believable. And for me, yeah, it's all about honesty and being as real as possible. I don't think you can be too honest. I mean, 'cause there's always ways that you can kind of say things without saying it that specific. He's never going to sound anything like this because I'm a northerner, right? So from England, north of England, grew up with bands like Arctic Monkeys and Oasis. Now, obviously, my music's not going to sound like that, but I've been taking a lot of lyrical reference because they talk so matter of fact to the point, and it's not glossed up, and it's not like glitz and glam. It's very real and honest. So I've been taking inspiration. I think it's also important when you go into a session that you try and let things happen as organic as possible. You can't go into a session and say, today I want to write a really slow ballad that hopefully sounds like a single, because you've got no chance. You're better off if you just kind of have a thing that you want to talk about and let it just happen organically in the room, because I feel like if you go searching for something, especially with a song, that's just the time where you kind of get writer's block and hours and hours are going by because you're thinking too specific, where you've got to kind of just let the process kind of take. Honestly, everything is like a learning process for me at the moment because, of course, we've done a heck of a lot with One Direction, but everything feels different now. You know what I mean? It really does. Like even an interview, for example, when there was 4 or 5 of us in an interview, you could all essentially, not deliberately, but you could all essentially play a little bit of a role. And my role would often be to kind of stop it from being so serious and throw a joke in every now and then. Now, I can't spend all interviews doing that now, otherwise people just think I'm an idiot, you know what I mean? So all these things that are kind of new to me that feel like I'm learning on the job a bit, but it makes it exciting, so much. I think from traveling the world and meeting a lot of different people from different backgrounds, it just gives you really good perspective for everything. And I just feel like naturally I often kept my friends from where I'm from in Doncaster. I brought them out and tour a lot, and that was very important for me because obviously I have this thing, you can't be, as a celebrity, you can't surround yourself with other celebrities all the time because of course, then you're going to believe the hype. But I get these things from when I'm with my friends from back home. Maybe one of my friends is struggling on his standard job, and maybe he's just lost his job. And it keeps me in touch with real life, you know what I mean? And it's so easy to lose that in my position. But I think it's so fundamentally important to keep your head screwed on, Nice. I think it was like, because all the locations we chose obviously looked really cool as well. It was like a glorified version of my hometown. So I think she got a little bit of the good side of it, which was nice. And yeah, I think it was just also nice for me to show the fans different places I used to hang out as a kid. Because honestly, I spent my life talking about how much I love Doncaster, where I'm from. But now they can actually, instead of just hearing the word, they can actually associate with, some images, I suppose. Started off as a coincidence, and I realised, and we kind of flagged it and wondered, is it a problem that a lot of them finish in U? But actually, I kind of like it,
Yeah.
and definitely, across the story of the album, it makes sense. And also, it's a nice little reference maybe to the fans as well, kind of give them that feel. So, yeah, I think it's one of those, it started off as a coincidence, then I was like, okay, maybe we can play into this. Yeah. Actually, I'm not just saying this. I was really excited for people to hear this single,
Nice.
"Miss You," because I'm really happy with the sound of it. And yeah, just in general, there's so many more like live elements, and there's loads more guitar, and that's important for me. So I'm happy about that. There are some ones that like I can't get too specific, but there's some like pretty like there's one ballad in particular. It's pretty emotional, pretty raw. I got a feeling they might like that one.
Nice.
Just in general, I'm just excited for them to just hear the album and listen to my lyrics, really, because I feel like hopefully they learn something about me from those lyrics.
I think this is a good advert for the album, and like I said, this is more in line with like my references growing up and stuff like that. You know, it was good doing the Steve Aoki and the BB Rexa songs because it meant I could go a little bit outside of my genre and, you know, dance and a little bit more urban with BB from a production style. I mean, so it's nice now to be out on my own and just be like, this is my sound and this is where I want to be. So it feels good. I wrote the song with Nick from Digital Farm Animals, and it was, I mean, we had an idea that it was a good song maybe at the time, but it was something that was maybe a little different to what I was used to singing, maybe not necessarily completely melodically, but more the way sonically it feels a little bit different to how I imagined. So I had to live with it for a while. And then, like, just the more I played it, I just became so addicted to listening to this song. And it became more apparent to me that to really drive the concept home and the emotion home, it'd be great to have a female on the track with me. So we didn't try anything else, but we had a couple of ideas that were like thrown around and nothing was really that exciting to me. And then somebody sent BB from the label the song, and she loved the song and she vocaled the song. We got it back, and it was just an absolute no-brainer. I mean, she sounds so amazingly cool on the record.
Yeah, she really does, man.
But also, what I was looking for is really driving that emotion home and the concept. And I think, you know, it's got to feel believable. And I think she really, really owns. I think as with any album, it's important to have, you know, a core identity to it, and I think definitely there is a big chunk of songs that feel like they're from the same family, but then there are other songs on there that kind of like the Steve song give a different feel and a different atmosphere. But I had this idea, and I don't know how realistic it is to do it in like today's world, but a lot of these songs I've written tell a story chronologically, so I'd love to be able to play the album through and you maybe grasp some kind of understanding in my last 3 years. Yeah, that was a massive inspiration to me. I mean, it's really what got me into music. When I was about 14, I got the Bullet in a Bible DVD, live DVD.
So good.
And it's so amazing, that show, and I was captivated by the whole performance and feel of it. I mean, that DVD anyway feels so epic. And yeah, I think it definitely, there are influences that I live with. Like, for example, because of that, there's every now and then you'll hear it on certain words. I might sing with a slight American twang to my voice just because I was so obsessed with Green Day when I was younger. Do you know what? It's just one of those things. I find it fascinating that two people can enter. I always get in this situation. You can enter a room with someone, maybe like me grandma. I enter a room and she'll go, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's such a mess." And I'm looking around thinking this is tidier than I've ever lived in. You know what I mean? I just one of those things. I'm very, very untidy, and it's an awkward one because when you are untidy, you know, and it irritates some people being untidy. It's an awkward one because it doesn't irritate me at all. You know what I mean? Just the one thing that I don't miss. That's hard. Well, from travel, I mean, it's kind of the same anyway, but from traveling all the time, I love British rubbish food.
Right.
Not necessarily rubbish, but I'm talking, it's not good for you. I'm talking pie and mash kind of gear. You can't get that when you're, you know, doing touring all over, and I'm not your most. I'm a little bit fussy with food, right? So, you know, there's always very nice posh restaurants everywhere we go, but I can't really get into that kind of vibe. For a start, I never have the attire for it. I'm never dressed for a posh restaurant. But also, just the food. Sometimes I struggle with. That's why I've literally been to McDonald's everywhere in the world. Do you know what? I've answered this question similar to this. If I was never in the band and I was watching everyone now, the music that I would be most drawn to as a listener from my preference would probably be Niall.
Nice.
And I love that. I do love Slow Hands. I think it's wicked. Yeah,
Such
it sounds
a good tune.
really
So
cool in it as well, though. I've met Harry before, actually. Weirdly, it was actually after a charity football game when we were there with Soccer Aid, and we had a few drinks at the bar, and he just turned up. Actually, it was a really random one. I don't really feel like I've got a lot to say for someone like that, but I mean, it was one of those surreal experiences where I was just like, this is pretty crazy, really.
That's right, yeah. It's great. I mean, it's always an honour to be asked to play something like that, you know what I mean? But super nerve-wracking. You want to do good, obviously, and be a good representation of yourself and all that. And you can hear a pin drop in the room, like it is. It's not exactly a party in there, you know what I mean? It's quite serious do, which is fair dues, but a lot of suits in there. But it was good. It was really good fun. And then meeting them after was again a surreal experience. I got to bring my band on that I've been performing with, the live band. So it was nice. But I had quite a few jobs when I was younger. Not very good at keeping a job when I was younger either, because it takes a while when you're young to learn the concept of responsibility and having to turn up to work and all that. Nervous as well, obviously, going back to the show, there's a certain amount of like nerves, and also you feel that nostalgia from when we were contestants, you know, being there and stuff like that. But it's always an honour to be asked to play, and I always feel pretty good about myself going back, actually. Yeah, it's kind of a proud moment, yeah. Well, I think what's nice about having someone like Kevin on the X Factor, and Kevin himself, is that it brings a lot of musicality to the show, and even just seeing him play his guitar and some of the creatives and the screens and the song choices, just in general, it's a cool tone for the X Factor, and I think it's nice to see, yeah. This is the guy that I'm keeping an eye on at the moment, called James Cherry, who's really interesting. He's unsigned at the moment, produces and writes everything himself. So, yeah, I like that side of things. I mean, that's what makes the X Factor so amazing, is that, you know, it grants opportunities to people that would never get those opportunities in reality. So that's a good thing to be involved.
I have waited for a while, other than the little ones and like the silly one that I mentioned. I haven't really had any for a while, so I'm not necessarily itching. I could just always, like literally, I could always go to the tattoo shop. But the album, yeah. So it became apparent to me when I had, because I've got maybe 75% of the album done, right? By the way, this figure, each interview, I've just been changing. It's been 50, 55, 65. Anyway, I think one stage was 85, so that was a great day. About 72% done.
Perfect.
But it became apparent to me that it was kind of telling a story naturally anyway, just from the stuff that I'd been writing. And in general, the stuff is very, very personal and very honest. Maybe more honest than people are normally willing to go in, like, pop. I just think there's a lot of songs that describe this Hollywood amazing relationship, and for good or for worse, it always sounds a little Hollywood and a little kind of film scripty and kind of not really. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So I think, you know, from growing up and listening to bands like Oasis and Arctic Monkeys, they say it so matter of fact, and that, you know, to me that's really exciting. So hopefully, although they do know a lot about me, hopefully the fans will learn something more from kind of getting to know. It's probably the last 2 or 3 years of my life, yeah. And I mean, I've got maybe another 2 songs to fit in, but I have to make them fit chronologically, you know what I mean? So I have to have a moment in those 3 years that I want. Looking back at the situation and having understanding of it, but the songs are written in present tense, you know, so it's as if it was then. So, like, you know, at the start of the album, it starts. You know, there's one song that's kind of up-tempo, and it's about going out one night after the other, you know, being able to go, do you know what, I'm going to go out again today. And then as a contrast, you know, right at the end of the album, there's a really, like, honest, sad track kind of reflecting about the whole time and how wrong it was. So hopefully, I mean, it's not going to be too deep. It's not going to be like, you know, like an evening with Louis Thomas and get to know all his thoughts.
You're right.
But you'll definitely get something from it, hopefully. I mean, from the fans' perspective, I just want them to be able to understand more of who I am as an artist as well as a person. If I'm being honest, well, this is me being pedantic. I didn't write this song from personal reference, right? Because this song is talking about a relationship of 2 people that maybe shouldn't be together. You know, back to you. It's talking about maybe it's not the most practical thing and they don't know why, but they keep finding their way back. That's absolutely not me. However, to work on the chronological thing, it kind of does work on the album, but that song in particular is probably the least personal across the album. I wrote that. It was an opportunity for me to, instead of being so heavily involved like emotionally with it. It was nice to have a song that I could write from reference as a point of like, see, we've all got friends like that in those kind of relationships, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of cool to be able to write from their perspective, because the rest of the album is all kind of loaded on me, really. Yeah, no, I'm very,
good reviews, isn't it?
Amazing reviews. I'm very, very excited for him. Very proud of him. I mean, it's amazing to see. You know,
Is it something that you?
Well, I just woke up. It's freezing cold. I just woke up to cold. Found out that turned telly on and golf's on, so I know it's not going to be a great day today. I mean, you know, I've got to be careful because Niall absolutely loves the golf, but I've got no time for it. I do not get it. I don't get it. It's very slow.
I don't get it on.
Yeah, I'm really excited. The X Factor, obviously, naturally it's mixed emotions going back, like super nervous as well as really, really excited, you know what I mean? You want to be a good advert for the show and you want to do right by everyone kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to going back. I'm really excited about the song itself and performing it, and I'm performing with a live band and stuff like that. So I'm excited. It's good. And the raw variety performance was crazy, as surreal experience as ever, you know. I always feel a little bit out of place in those moments, but especially when you have to do the meet after, you know, I'm thinking I don't have much small talk in general anyway. Never mind to this kind of clientele, you know. But it was actually really nice. I got to bring my band on with me. I kind of slide them on last minute because I was like, I'm going to be stood like on my own looking silly, so lads, you're just rushing on with me. So I managed to get them to meet Will and Kate as well, which was pretty cool. Thing, because you know you don't want to say the wrong thing, and obviously raw variety, my new single, it's there's a few swear words in it, right, which is a whole new game for me. Now I have learned the explicit version, shall we say, and then when it came down to performance, twice in my sound check I swore, and I was like, honestly, this is gonna be horrible if I end up swearing in front of the Royals, but luckily I pulled it off. I was nervous about that.
Yeah, you don't want to swear.
Okay, so I'm loads more excited about the sonic and the way it sounds, this song, because I think that's what was good about doing the collaborations, you know, Steve Aoki, BB Rex. With the Steve song, I could, you know, branch off to something a little bit more dancey, and then BB, something a little bit more urban. I'm talking production-wise. So it's been really nice with this song to just like put, you know, loads of heavy guitars on there and bring the live elements back, and it's got a kind of big like anthemic pop chorus, and I've been missing that kind of structure really, and it's kind of a similar structure production wise that we used with the band, you know, guitar driven pop. And I'm really excited about it. I'm really confident about the sound of the song, and I'm really confident singing it. So I'm in a good place. I'm really excited for everyone to hear it.
All right.
You kind of share that, really. Yeah, sometimes you take the front.
Sometimes I take the front. You know, if he's a bit tired, I'll go.
Yeah.
Behind and push him along.
Yeah. But you know, we're both, you know, we're both quite generous to each other, so we think that, you know, sometimes he should get to do what he wants to do, go first.
It's a bit of give and take.
Yes.
No.
In terms of what I'm most proud of, it's probably the stuff that I've written for this record, just because I've really kind of opened up and been super honest about it. But in terms of like something that sticks out to me as a writer, we wrote a little bit on the first two albums, but then me and Liam in particular on the third album and the fourth was kind of like really into it. And I remember one of the first songs we wrote in this writing group, which was me, Liam, Julian Burnett, John Ryan and Jamie Scott, and we started to develop what then became Midnight Memories, and it was just a real magic moment in the room, and something that I'd not really felt as a writer before. It all kind of just happened very quickly in the space of like 45 minutes, and then we had this really great chorus and great song idea, so that'll always... Yeah, the most important thing to me is that the album is received well, not by critics or anyone who don't like, I'm not like none of that. It's just that it received well by the fans and the people that really care, you know, because it's very apparent to me of how important they are to everything, and you know, as much as I can reinforce that as possible, it's really important because they, you know, we all do this together, and they are also the reason why I'm confident enough to do something like this on my own. So The other two are a bit smaller. Yeah, I'm sure back in old interviews he used to whip them out in interviews.
Oh.
No, I wish I could say I had 3 testicles or something exciting like that, but no, unfortunately not. Definitely, I haven't seen it yet, but as I keep saying, honestly, it's an amazing feeling for us lads because, you know, for us all to have this opportunity now to go off and kind of do our own individual thing. It's exciting for us as individuals. You know, I might wake up in the morning with my bowl of cornflakes and look on Twitter and see Niall, you know, performing at a radio show to like 40,000 people, or the same, see Harry stood next to Tom Hardy on the red carpet. I mean, it's unbelievable. We feel like brothers in that sense, you know what I mean? It's just pure, just so proud of each other, definitely.
Good lad.